Hi. So this will just be a short little video while I attempt to upload on a somewhat regular schedule. Black and white thinking or all or nothing thinking. Funnily enough, this might have been a conversation I had with a friend or maybe a cousin or maybe in a comment section. Yeah, I have no idea just because I've had this conversation with a lot of different people at this point. Black and white thinking is also extremely common on the internet, so I'm about to call a lot of y'all out. Go ahead and hate on me in the comments again. It totally doesn't keep me up at night. Black and white thinking can be an incredibly harmful mindset. It can actually be a symptom of depression, anxiety, panic disorder, ADHD, OCD. But you know what? In this day and age, what isn't a sign of mental illness anymore? I remember in elementary school, a teacher was trying to explain to us, like 5 or 6-year-olds, tips and tricks to answer the true or false questions in our little workbooks. Okay, guys, so most of the time, if the sentence includes the words all or none, the sentence is most likely false because it's rare for things in the world to be all or nothing. It obviously didn't land with us as we were too young, but it really resonates with me now as an adult. Back to all or nothing thinking, though. All or nothing thinking can be labeled as a cognitive distortion. Cognitive distortion is an inaccurate or irrational belief that causes us emotional distress. It's a mental illness thing. This can be as simple as the sentence, I am a failure and will always be a failure. This belief would cause us to never try new things and can even stop us from enjoying the things we used to love. I'd like to point out that not all cognitive distortions will sound negative at first glance. I always need to stand up for myself when people are upset with me. Sounds okay, but paired with everyone is always upset with me can be a very dangerous combo. Notice how a cognitive distortion is an inaccurate belief. Sometimes they are even easy to disprove, yet we still believe it. Our minds are hardwired to gather evidence to support our cognitive distortions, and will pretty much ignore clear proof that our cognitive distortions are incorrect.
But once I prove that my belief is wrong, I can move on with my life. Anything else just means you're stupid.
Congrats to you! You can move on without difficulty, so you probably don't have mental illness, and I'm not really talking to you then. If proving our cognitive distortions wrong doesn't work, how do we deal with them? One way is to get curious about them and challenge them. Challenge them every single time they show up.
I am a failure, and I will always fail.
Well, what about the time we succeeded?
No, we will always fail.
I can always try again.
But failure, if you fail, people are gonna hate you. They'll hate you forever.
They've hated me for succeeding too. I've learned to be fine with their hatred. And why would I care about people who are angry that I'm succeeding or that I'm happy?
Failure is so embarrassing.
Embarrassment is not a death sentence. It is a feeling, and it is a feeling that I can handle.
You can challenge these thoughts over and over and over and over, as long as they are putting you in distress. Sometimes it genuinely feels like your cognitive distortion is throwing a tantrum, like a clingy ex that won't stop creating new accounts to message you from. You get sick of it and just block them every single time the notification pops up. I feel like there are a lot of different ways for people to take this poorly. I've seen many people confuse cognitive distortions with their mantras or their life motto, or sometimes people do the reverse. When their body is giving them legitimate warning bells for dangerous situations, they ignore it because they thought it was just their anxiety. Just a reminder that anxiety is not a bad thing. Being anxious is a function that our bodies are supposed to have. Being anxious does not automatically mean anxiety disorder. And if you do have an anxiety disorder and you feel like you cannot trust your anxious feelings, you can always try leaning on your other senses. Using all or nothing thinking can make us miss the chance to see all of the other paths that have different and sometimes better outcomes. I think all or nothing thinking also blocks us from connecting with other people. Every single person has so many different experiences or understandings of situations. Talking to other people, though, I might be alone in this, but exploring different viewpoints and mindsets together can be pretty fun. To work in mental health, one needs to have a very deep understanding of our own individual worldview and where they come from, just so I don't impose my own beliefs onto other people. I'm aware that the foundation of many of my belief systems just don't work with other people. Heck, many of my belief systems don't even work for me, and I work on challenging them for myself. I happen to like this part about myself. It's kind of an explanation of what makes me, and I like sharing it to spaces that I feel are safe to share with. I am the type of person to be constantly asking the question, why? Kind of the way that toddlers and teenagers do. because I legit do not understand people sometimes, and I would like to understand. But for many all or nothing thinkers, there is sometimes absolutely no foundation behind their belief system. It's an irrational belief after all. Or the belief system is backed up by toxicity or trauma that can be very difficult to unpack. To ask or see this part of them can be seen as a huge offense or attack. Either way, revealing the foundation can be uncomfortable, and some people will instead focus on the big belief instead of the supporting foundation. How do you deal with someone who has all or nothing thinking? Just to drive the point in, there is no one solution to this. There are many different ways to deal with a friend or loved one with all or nothing thinking. For myself, it's a lot of figuring out what I can and cannot control. I can show up for them and be the one to reassure them. I can even bounce around ideas with them to help them challenge their beliefs. But all or nothing thinking can hurt the people around you, and we shouldn't be expected to put up with someone who is hurting us forever. It's funny because life events such as prolonged trauma due to bad living situations or toxic relationships can cause belief systems that are completely correct in the moment and are reaffirmed for years. But once you leave those bad situations, those super true beliefs back then that kept you safe are now considered harmful. It can be hard to say goodbye to the mindset and the things that kept you safe for many years. There are some belief systems that can be caused by good situations. And when those belief systems are challenged, people can be left unprepared. I feel like I'm just ranting now, but the thing I wanted to bring awareness to, due to the world we live in right now, is know why you think the way that you think. With the blast of information on the internet, it's easy to grab information and add it to your belief system without really vetting the information or thinking for yourself. Especially if you're like me and the why matters so much in understanding how to challenge my negative beliefs.
I think I'm a failure because growing up, no one acknowledged my accomplishments, only my failures.
I will make it a point to celebrate your accomplishments. Sometimes the belief is just another version of you screaming for your needs to be met in a roundabout way.